Thank you. I'm now calling the Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026, regular meeting of the Los Altos Hills County Fire District Board of Commissioners to order. The time is 7:05 p.m. Please note we're conducting a hybrid meeting, which allows staff and members of the public to attend this via virtual teleconference. And in the event that there are technical problems that prevent remote public participation, I have the discretion to continue the meeting without remote public participation, provided that no board member is participating in this that way, and no one is. The hybrid meeting will be video recorded and posted on our website. And because we are video conferencing, we will follow a strict protocol for the benefit of the recording. I will indicate when commissioners, staff, presenters, and the public will provide comments. And if you've called into the meeting and are not using a webcam, please state your name prior to providing your comments. And if you're making public comments and have questions of the presenter or the commission, please address your questions to me, the board president. I will respond, seek a response, or hold the question for future response. Please practice considerate video conferencing etiquette by muting your line when you're not speaking and limiting distracted behavior on camera. District Clerk Vargas, please conduct the roll call.
Commissioners, I will be conducting all roll calls this evening in the same order. Please remember the order so that you are prepared to provide your comment or vote. President Spreen.
Yes, here.
Vice President McDonald.
Here.
Commissioner Basigi. Commissioner Katambi.
Present.
Commissioner Tonka.
Yeah.
Commissioner Tyson.
Here.
Commissioner Warren. And we have 5 commissioners present, which is a quorum. And for the benefit of the recording, I will also conduct a presenters, consultants, and staff roll call. Santa Clara County Fire Department Deputy Fire Chief Glass.
Good evening, President.
Thank you. Santa Clara County Fire Department Hazmat Assistant Fire Marshal Davis is here in the back room. And Santa Clara County Fire Department Deputy Fire Marshal 2 Paul is also here in the back room. TRC Principal Engineer Hansel Durbin.
Here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Santa Clara County Fire Safe Council CEO Charlotte in the audience. Thank you. We've got Municipal Resource Group Strategic Planning Consultant Scott.
Present. Good evening.
Thank you. We have Community Education Risk Reduction Manager Gluhan.
Present.
Thank you. Programs Planning Grants Manager Woods. Thank you. Technical Analyst / Project Manager Cronin.
Present.
Thank you. Project Operations Manager Russell.
Present.
General Analyst Georgie.
Present.
Field Manager Harmon is not present. Technical Data Analyst Martinez.
Present.
Okay. Project Manager Administration Revelar. Thank you. Project Manager Risk Reduction King Rob.
Present.
Community Risk Reduction Specialist Stockstick.
Present.
Thank you. Finance Program Specialist Corpus in the audience. Thank you. IHFR Specialist Nazarova.
Present.
Thank you. IHFR Operations Specialist Ore. Thank you. Program Specialist 2 Pope. Present. Thank you. Operations Administrative Manager Fairman.
Present.
Thank you. Finance and IT Manager Moriali.
Present.
Okay. General Manager Logan.
Present.
And Deputy County Counsel Ellison.
Present.
Okay. Presenters, consultants, and staff are accounted for.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item 2, Commission President remarks. First, I'd like to announce that as a courtesy, any members of the public having objections to the proposed abatement of hazardous weed, brush, and/or rubbish on their property are being given the opportunity to discuss their situation with Santa Clara County Fire Department Hazmat Assistant Fire Marshal Davis and Deputy Fire Marshal 2 Paul in the separate breakout room in the back there before providing public testimony under Agenda Item 6B. Are there any, I know we've got some already talking there. Are there any members of the public present who would like to speak privately with them before providing comment during the public hearing? Just want to make sure everyone has a chance. Great.
Yeah, and I don't see anybody online.
Great. Thank you. This is a very full meeting. And if you look at the agenda, a lot of the items here represent some huge accomplishments and of a lot of hours of staff time in all different directions, which may not appear, but it's definitely the duck with the paddling furiously under the water to make all this stuff happen. And the thing I noticed about all these is that if you look at in total all the different organizations that we touch tonight with all these things, you realize the bigger and we get, the more interconnected we are. And I just thought that I just love seeing how constructively we're working with so many different organizations. I'm speaking fast because we have so much to do. I do want to make an observation first, though, which is that About a couple weeks ago, I attended the Los Altos Hills Town Picnic. And, I've done booth duty for committees before there, and sometimes it's a very hot, tired, lonely afternoon. In this case, I went up to if you went to see the fire district tables, that place was buzzing. I mean, it was constant, and there were so many people coming up unsolicited. They weren't just looking for swag, like the pen that I took from there. They have really good pens, by the way. They would come saying they'd see the map and they'd tell me about it. They wanted to know more, and it really, to me, it was what was notable about it was it felt like an accurate temperature reading of residents. It wasn't anything strange about the event. It's that people really are hearing more. They want to know more, and they're coming up and engaging. And so many members of staff were there doing things. I mean, everyone was answering things at the table. So it was just a very impressive event. And I thought it just spoke well for how the residents of the district, at least in the town, are responding. And it's a reflection of all the communication and education we continue to do. One other thing I'll mention is that this is another month when there's a lot to see in the work area reports in the consent calendar, consent section of documents. I wanted to mention the speaking of the picnic, which is some photos of that in the community education and risk reduction work area report, which is a whopper. It's 50 pages, and it's concise, and there's so much stuff going on. If we read that list out here, we'd be here additional 2 hours. There's just so many activities and things happening. It's really exciting. And I'll mention also, I want to point out that if you haven't met or don't know our newest employee, Dave Pope, you'll see that there's a lot of CERT activity happening there, and he's really making an impact quickly, and it's fun to see that happen. Since I don't want to just leave anyone else out, I want to mention the other two work areas that in the IHFR area, going to a question we had, I think last month from Commissioner Basigi about, what are we doing in terms of late stage vegetation growth? How are we going to watch out for that? If you see in there, you'll see there's as part of, in addition to the evacuation route and other information and brush chipping, look at the flashy fuels stuff is in there. You'll see the map of what's being done every month to go in and actually do on the ground surveys. You'll see the map that has areas, and you can see areas that stretches that are red that are having activity brought to them. What's yellow, they're being monitored. And it really was very nice to see that it's not just a name. It really is active work. It's the June survey. So every month we're doing these active examinations of things. And finally, I want to mention in the operations section, it was great to see we had some interesting conference up at the station design up in Reno, I think it was. Yeah. And for me, it was exciting to see that, we're getting state-of-the-art education on what it means to have a station. And that's really exciting as that project ramps up a bit. Looked like you were going to say something. Okay, great. Anyway, that's all I wanted to point people to. It's a lot of stuff going on. And now we'll move on to all the business, which everyone's here for. And let's go to public comment. Persons wishing to address the commission on any subject not on the agenda tonight may do so now. Please note, however, the commission is not able to undertake extended discussion or action tonight on these items not on the agenda. They may be referred to staff for appropriate action, which may include placement on the next available agenda. District policy is to limit public testimony to 3 minutes per speaker. Do we have any public comments on items not on the agenda?
I don't see any in person or online.
Okay, in that case, moving on to item 4, agenda amendments and changes. Any comments from staff on this? Any reason to alter the agenda, or any commissioners need to change any orders? In that case, I'm just going to move on to item 5, consent calendar. Any comments from staff on consent calendar items? A lot of stuff in there. Any questions from the commission on these items? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. With Commissioner making the motion and seconding, please state your names for the record.
Tonka so moves.
Kadambi seconds.
Thank you. Any discussion? Any public comments on consent calendar items?
I see none in person or online.
Okay, great. Let's take a vote.
Okay. President Spreen.
Yes.
Vice President McDonald.
Yes.
Commissioner Kadambi.
Yes.
Commissioner Tonka.
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson.
Yes.
And the motion passes 5-0 with 2 absent.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item 6. Okay, item 6A is an update on the defensible space weed abatement non-compliant list. Santa Clara County Fire Department Hazmat Assistant Fire Marshal Davis and Deputy Fire Marshal 2 Paul will please provide us a report.
Good evening. Thank you very much for having us join you, President Spreen, Vice President McDonald, and staff. I would like to introduce Rimple Paul. She's our Deputy Fire Marshal, and she is assigned your guys' Deputy Fire Marshal for the town of Los Altos Hills. So I'll let her speak a couple words, and then we'll come back with the item.
Great.
Hello, everyone. As a Deputy Fire Marshal with Santa Clara County Fire Department, I had the opportunity to work closely with Los Altos Hills County Fire District, specifically with Paige and Debbie, on several vegetation management and defensible space issues within our wildland and urban interface high fire hazard zone. Through strong collaboration, open communication, and shared commitment to public safety, we were able to conduct thorough inspection, address community concern, and conduct thorough inspection, address community concern, and successfully work with residents to achieve compliance with vegetation management requirements. One particular case involving a resident experienced concern related to overgrown vegetation fire risks. By working together, we provided clear guidance, conducted a comprehensive site assessment, and helped the resident understand the importance of reducing wildfire hazards around their property. Working together helped us achieve better results for our residents by addressing fire safety concerns, improving compliance, reducing wildfire risks, and providing valuable education to residents on defensible space, vegetation management, and wildfire preparedness. This collaboration demonstrated the value of teamwork and partnership. By combining our resources, expertise, and commitment to public service, we were able to support our community, enhance wildfire preparedness, and improve the overall safety of our residents living in our fire hazard severity zone. I appreciate the professionalism, dedication, and partnership demonstrated by Paige, Debbie, and the Los Altos Hills County Fire District throughout this effort. Thank you, everyone, so much.
All right. Thank you, Ripple. That was a great introduction. We were here, I think, in January. We were talking about the severity zones. We've gone through a lot of different changes, and I will say that this is probably the best year that we've had in the town of Los Altos Hills, and that is with collaboration with the fire district. We've had some great collaboration. We've been able to work together. And with that, I'm happy to kind of give you an overview of what work was done, and then we can get to the list. So it started March 9th. We sent out about 557 letters out to the communities, letting them know that the inspection process is happening. We call it the WUI season is starting. And so we've got over 500 responses back, which was extraordinary. So your community is absolutely engaged, and it was very good to see. On April 13th, our engines got their list and said, okay, go out and start inspecting the partials. And so on April 13th, they had until May 15th to conduct their inspections. And the whole idea of the inspections is, number one, to get out in the community, educate the community, and then if they see any violations, to bring those forward with the homeowner, and then also refer them to fire prevention so that we can follow up with further education and work with the fire district to collaborate with them to find out, are there resources available to help them come into compliance? I'm happy to say that the engine companies, they actually inspected almost 530 inspections. That's quite a bit in that short amount of time. And during that time, they found 38 people that had violations. That's not a bad thing. What that's telling us is our engine companies are out there and they're actually doing the work. And so they've notified that there's 38 parcels out there that could do a little bit more to make us fire resilient. So it came to the deputy fire marshals. And so once it came to us, it was June 22nd. Well, It began 2 weeks after the engine company started doing their inspections. Whenever they notify or find a violation, they send it to us, and then we give the people 14 days, and then we'll go out and start working with the homeowners. We'll either go back and verify, yes, it's been done, or we're going to work with them on getting resources to complete it. And our last inspection was on June 22nd, which was yesterday. And I bring that up in the fact that we are all about trying to educate and trying to give resources. We aren't all about enforcement. We don't want to send people forward. So the people that we are working with will either come in compliance, or they're going to show good faith efforts in coming into compliance in the fact that we truly believe that they will, and therefore we do not move forward with referring them, but we continue to work with them. So our deputy fire marshals, they did an additional 92 inspections, first inspection, and then the ones that still had violations, they went out and did an additional 37. So as I said, we did inspections all the way up till end of day yesterday. So with that being said, I'm very happy to announce that of the 38 violations, we were able to get the list down to 4.
Wow.
And more impressively, every single contact that we made, every single person that we spoke to, they are 100% in compliance, which is unheard of. And that was the collaboration work with the fire district's team as well as with our DFMs. And so the 4 properties that are not in compliance that we will move forward with referring to, we did at least 5 inspections on each place. And unfortunately, and we mailed letters to them with U.S. mail. We didn't get any responses back. We tried any way we can to contact them, and the structures that we are dealing with appear to be vacant. So that's the challenge. We've tried every single resource. But once again, I want to say that these numbers, even though they're numbers, it shows how effective the collaboration is, and then how the community is, and that they are listening and they are engaged. And that is something to brag about as a town. It was very impressive to stand on this side of it to see it. So moving forward to the list, I am very happy to announce that we would like to remove a number of these residents off of the referral list.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll start out with the first one that we would like to remove. And again, the reason why we are removing these is because they are in compliance and they no longer have any violations. The first one is 25870 Ridgewood Lane. The next one would be 12040 Green Hills Court. Next one, 26100 Elena Road. The next one will be 27400 Elena Road. The next one is 13315 Simon Lane. The next one is 27680. Is it Vogue Court? Sorry it's taking so long, but this is wonderful.
This is great. This is all
this
good
is
strikes.
all good news. This is the side that we want to be on. The next one is 24791 North Crest Lane. And the other one is 24303 Ellis Court. And so all of those occupancies, and as I said, we were doing inspections all the way up till yesterday. So that is a great example of how engaged and how responsive the community is. And as I mentioned, the 4 that are still on the list, we didn't have the opportunity to talk to any of them. And I will say that every single one of these, an engine company went out, and then our deputy fire marshals went out another 4 other times with time in between, trying to do everything we can to make contact. And each time we sent letters, and the letters actually go to the owners not to the residents, because we understand if they're vacant houses, we can send letters there all day and we're not making anything. So those letters actually went to the owners that are shown as there. So they did not go to that address, and it was sent UPS or US mail.
One comment, there are 5 addresses left. Is there one more to strike off there?
Yes, there is
Oh.
28014 Natoma.
Perfect.
Yes, and I apologize for
No.
that. And that resident actually
Gotcha. We'll be getting to, if you're waiting for public comment, we'll be getting there shortly.
Okay, and just so you know, that was a resident that we were speaking with earlier, and we verified that there were absolutely no outstanding violations. So
Great.
that was wonderful. So thank you very much for all of the support. And again, I can't speak highly enough about the collaboration, and this has been an incredible WUI season for us. So thank you.
Well, thank you for a great report. Any questions or comments from the commission here? No, it's. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I know that a lot of people have asked for really having this program step forward, and to see it this active and to hear more about how it's working is really great for everybody. So thank you.
One of the things is when we were looking at adopting the fire hazard severity zone, and that adopting all 3 zones, there were some concerns about this, and this is a direct reflection that they wanted it and they support it, and we will continue to do everything we can to keep encouraging.
Now I'm going to ask if there's any public comment on this item, and please note if you're raising your hand, if you're a property owner who wishes to object to the inclusion of your property, if you're one of these 4, you'll have the opportunity to do that after I open the hearing. So this will be public comments on this item first. So this is time for any other public comment on this item. Are there any? I see one in the room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alan Epstein, I live in the district. I'm just a little confused about the process. My understanding is that they were to inspect 1/3 of the properties each year. They said they sent out 557 letters. There's at least 4,000 properties in the Los Altos Hills County Fire District. So I'm a little confused as to why only 557 letters went out. My other question is, I'd be interested to know the area that they actually did inspect. Most of it seems to be in the Ravensbury, Magdalena area. So I'd be curious to hear what part of the district they actually inspected. Thank you.
I don't know if you want to answer that. I suspect that has to do with the severity zones in terms of who was contacted.
Yes, thank you very much. Very good question. And I would like to make a correction. We did send out many more letters. The 557 were the total amount of responses that we received. So I apologize for that. And then as far as where did we inspect, we actually inspected in anyone that was in the fire hazard severity zone. So the very high, the high, and the moderate. And then we actually physically inspect 1/3 each year. So, and within 3 years, we'll inspect 100%.
Perfect. Are there any other public comments? I don't see any in the room. Are there any online?
No, I don't see any hands raised online.
Okay. In that case, I will now open the public hearing. The time is 7:29 p.m. I would first like to ask Fire Marshal Davis and Deputy Fire Marshal Paul whether any of the properties listed in Exhibit A to Resolution 26-06 were re-inspected after the list was posted on the district website on June 18, 2026, and subsequently found to be in compliance. I would also like to ask whether any members of the public spoke privately with you during today's meeting to discuss their properties. I think we know the answers to these are yes. And if so, are there any changes or modifications to the list to report at this time as a result of these subsequent inspections or discussions? I think we're saying that the things on the screen now is the result of that. Okay, I should make sure I had that right. So I'm sorry for the re-asking the question. For any property owners that are here regarding the properties just referenced, which will be these 4 remaining, you are still free to speak on this item. However, be advised this property is proposed to be
Yeah, so it's anybody, the
Yes.
ones that we've removed, if they still want to speak about it, they have the
Can.
opportunity to, yes.
Okay. Let's see. If any members of the public would like to contest the inclusion of their parcel number in this exhibit of resolution number 26-06 of the Los Altos Hills County Fire District Board of Commissioners to proceed with the abatement of weeds, brush, and/or rubbish, now is the time to do so. Any and all persons interested having any objections to said list or to any matter contained therein may appear and be heard. Public testimony for this item will be limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Are there any comments?
No, I see none online.
Okay, wasn't expecting any. So in that case, hearing none, we will now close the public hearing. The time is 7:30 p.m. Moving on to item 6C, this is the resolution 26-06 to proceed with abatement of weeds, brush, and/or rubbish. Any more questions from the commission? Great. I would entertain a motion and a second.
Tyson moves approval of item C.
McDonald seconds.
Great. I assume it's understood.
To clarify, Roger, it's subject to the amendment of the exhibit list as posted here.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
That's what I meant.
Any other discussion? No. Any public comment? One more chance.
I'm not seeing any.
Seeing none, in that case, let's vote. District Clerk Vargas, please conduct a roll call.
All right. President Spreen.
Yes.
Vice President McDonald.
Yes.
Commissioner Kadambi. Commissioner Tonka. Commissioner Tyson.
Yes.
And the motion passes 5-0 with 2 absent.
Thank you. Moving on to item 7, which is somewhat related. Item 7 is to adopt resolution 26-07, setting a public hearing at the July 21st regular commission meeting for objections to the proposed special assessment cost associated with the abatement of weeds or brush growing and/or rubbish contained on certain described properties. Please note the properties attached to resolution 26-06, which we just approved in its amended form, under agenda item 6 are not included on this list due to the property tax assessor office submission deadline. If applicable, special assessment costs relating to inspections and abatements on the properties attached to resolution 26-06 will be included on the special assessment list provided next year in June 2027. Any clarifying questions from the commission? We do this every year, so we're used to that. I would entertain a motion and a second. Thank you.
McDonald seconds.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Seeing none. Any public comment?
I see none.
Seeing none. In that case, let's take a vote.
Okay. President Spreen.
Yes.
Vice President McDonald.
Yes.
Commissioner Kadambi.
Yes.
Commissioner Tonka. Commissioner Tyson.
Yes.
And the motion passes 5-0 with 2 absent.
Thank you very much. And thank everyone involved with that. I know it's a lot of work to get to this point, and we really appreciate the progress it shows. Moving on to item 8, the fire chief report. Item 8A is the monthly report for May 2026, and 8B is an update on Station 8 operation. Deputy Fire Chief Glass will be providing us this report.
Yeah, good evening, President Spreen and commissioners, members of the public and staff. Brian Glass, Deputy Fire Chief for the Santa Clara County Fire Department, here on behalf of Fire Chief Sawana Kirkow, who could not be with us tonight. You're taking a look at our June newsletter, kind of highlighting some of the stuff that's going on as we approach 4th of July. We've got our fireworks safety message. We've also released our 2025 annual report. That's available on our website. There's a link on the page. Some exciting activity. We had arson investigation. Assistant Fire Marshal Davis was involved in that and probably could talk in detail at length about that. And then we're highlighting our County Fire Mid-Peninsula Open Space Partnership on fuels mitigation within the service area. Next page. Again, some highlighted events. Primarily, the first 2 are in South County. We had vehicle accident, structure fire. But Wednesday, May 20th, Rescue 74, Engine 76 from Los Altos Hills Fire Stations responded with Palo Alto to a commercial vehicle collision on Highway 280 where the truck overturned and was leaking hydraulic fluid. And our hazardous materials unit was dispatched to help mitigate that. We're highlighting some employee excellence. Again, the deputy fire marshals do an outstanding job. And, we were able to recognize Jose Garcia, who was nominated by his peers and selected for recognition as a County Employee Excellence Awards. So I really appreciate the work our DFMs do in the Fire Prevention Division. That's evidenced by the work of Assistant Fire Marshal Davis, and DFM2 Rimple Paul. Next page. All right, so we take a look at the calls. Los Altos Hills County Fire District had a pretty normal distribution of calls. We're looking at a total of 76 in the month of May, including, I just want to highlight that these are as the calls are dispatched. So while it says fire, structure, or vegetation, that's what it came in as. But as you see in significant incidents, we didn't actually have a significant fire. So again, people call in thinking that their house is on fire, and we get there, and luckily it's not on fire, or it's something small, smoking electrical, a light ballast, something that we can mitigate very quickly. 13 alarms, 6 hazardous conditions, 32 medical calls, and 24 calls for service. Community education and outreach. I'm just going to draw attention to the community events totaling 1,776. That's a lot. So I think we've got an anomaly in that data, and I'll have to take that back and correct that with the administration and planning team. Next page. Average response times for fires. Since we didn't have any fires, the data doesn't look that great. But again, our call processing and turnout time, that won't change depending on the type of the call. So we're under the benchmark, which is the red line. Total reflex average is over. Total reflex urban is slightly over. But our reflex to urban area is under. And then responding to medical emergencies, this is I would say the majority of the calls. I think we had 32 this month, but you're seeing how fast we're processing those call times and our turnout times. Everything there appears to be under the benchmarking, but as we start to get to reflex time, we start to be a little bit more challenged in that response. So current month average is in the yellow, and rolling 12-month average is in blue. Next page. This is the district-wide distribution of calls, so not to belabor this point here, but we're looking at about 1,800 calls in the month of May district-wide, and then you can see in the bottom graph that we're above average for where we would normally be. This is our year-over-year target, and so we're approaching 9,000 calls a year for service, and we're just talking about the end of May. So this is a pretty significant increase, almost 600-700 calls, and then we're attributing that to the addition of South County. Next page. And then finally closing out the report with a little bit of fireworks safety, just making sure that residents and people out there know that there are no fireworks allowed in Santa Clara County and any of the jurisdictions we serve. There is only one city, that is the city of Gilroy, that allows safe and sane. And we encourage everyone to partake in a professional fireworks show or display, and there will be those listed on many of the social media sites, including ours. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay. Any questions, Commission? Any comments? None from me.
I do have
let's see.
pictures of new water tender 76 if the board is interested in seeing.
We are, but I'm going to hold that for anticipation. We have a public comment on the reports.
I have 2 questions if you'll entertain them. One, I saw in the newspaper an announcement from CAL FIRE that additional wildfire cameras had been added in San Mateo and Santa Cruz. I was wondering if there's any efforts to add any wildfire cameras in Santa Clara County, and in particular in the district. And my other question relates to the N5 sensors. Excuse me. What progress they're making in installing them in the park. So if those questions are one you'd like to ask, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I think we'll take that for a future agenda because it's a good topic on its own. Yeah, okay, good. We'll mark that down for coming back with information on that. Okay, moving on to the water tender.
Okay, I'll share my screen. Please let me know if you guys can see it.
Yes.
All right, let's get to a picture that's not the back end. How about that? There's the front end. So much anticipated water tender 76 has reached its final inspection phase. We had a team of individuals fly out to Louisiana where the fire engine is being constructed. When both districts decided to purchase the water tender, the plan was for this unit to be built in Pennsylvania through a lot of consolidations and purchases and mergers that have made national news on fire engine and fire apparatus shortages. The company that we had originally ordered from was bought by a conglomerate. So the engine is, wearing the KME badge, which is who we paid to build it, but it's actually being built in the factory for Ferrara, which is another manufacturer under the conglomerate that bought both of the fire apparatus manufacturing companies. And so the apparatus is in great condition. It's passing all of its final inspections. There was a laundry list or a punch list, if you will, of items that were not to spec. Those were delivered to the vendor by our team, and they're making those needed corrections before the vehicle will make its way from Louisiana to California, where it'll go through final inspection in California. It'll put a few miles on the unit, which is always good. It kind of shakes it out, make sure the motor gets broke in, and they tighten everything up, fix anything that might have got damaged on its transport out here, and then we go and we'll inspect it one more time out in the Central Valley before we bring it to Los Gatos, where it'll be upfitted and put into service, equipment placed on it. All the equipment's been ordered, all the hose has been ordered, so we're just waiting on its delivery. I would expect it to be in service, responding out of the Loyola station, serving Los Altos Hills residents sometime in the month of December if everything goes to plan. I know there's been a significant amount of wait. I appreciate everybody's patience and understanding as we've navigated some really uncertain times in fire service manufacturing, kind of unprecedented times. Realistically, in my 25-year career, I've never seen it this delayed. Again, happy to go back and show any of the other photos if people are interested, or explain anything in the spots and in the shots, and I'll be sure to send these to the general manager if anybody would like to look at them more closely. I just want to continue to thank the board for their support for this apparatus. I think it's well needed and well deserved to serve the residents of Los Altos Hills and the greater mutual aid system in the joint partnership that we have.
Exciting. Any comments? Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's great. Any public comments?
I see none.
Can't wait to see it. I imagine it's quite a road trip in that thing. So,
Actually, how many gallons does it hold?
2,000 gallons of water.
Wow.
Okay.
wow. Yeah. That's amazing. I'm great for the residents to see that this kind of stuff is being brought to bear for them. Awesome. Okay, moving on. Item 10. This is also some great news. This is the Board of Forestry and Fire Protection application for fire risk reduction community. This will be Manager Gluhan giving us a report.
Good evening, President Spreen, Vice
Alan
President
had his
McDonald,
hand raised.
and commissioners. Yeah. Oh,
Actually,
stand by.
did we? Oh, I guess, yeah, Chief Glass, was there anything on the Fire Station 8? Was there? Oh,
Yeah, we jumped right off of water tender and straight into the exciting Firewise application. So yeah, Palo Alto Station 8, thank you for bringing that up. I believe that was Mr. Epstein, so thank you for keeping me honest. Palo Alto Station 8, June 15th went live, responding out of their station. They were the ones to start the first 2 weeks. So we're still in the start of this program. They've already been responding to calls. They went to the vegetation fire just the other day, kind of on the Rastadero Preserve area. And again, that did threaten Los Altos Hills jurisdiction. We responded Battalion 74, and there'll be more information as that comes out in the, I guess that'll be the June report. So, the one thing that I do need to note is Palo Alto is having significant apparatus challenges. They had another one of their Type 1 fire engines impacted by a drunk driver on the highway on 101. It's rendered the fire apparatus out of service, and so they're needing to move different fire engines around. So you may see a different type of fire engine up at Station 8 or responding to calls in Los Altos Hills when they're serving. It is what we call a Type 5 fire engine, and our contract specifically calls out a Type 3 or a Type 6. A Type 5 is a more capable version of the Type 6. It is less capable than the Type 3, but through discussions between the fire chiefs of both Palo Alto and Santa Clara County Fire, as well as with the general manager, we've agreed to allow Palo Alto to provide service using that Type 5 because it's actually more robust than the Type 6 in the contract. So if you see a unit running around with a 5 designation, and maybe Vice President can speak a little bit to its capabilities, as I think he has awareness on Palo Alto's apparatus probably better than I. That's the update, and then we look forward to taking over and transitioning that service on July 1 to Los Altos from Station 8. And we'll have one of our Type 3 engines up there. It'll be engine 374 from the El Monte Fire Station. We'll be staffing that and placing that up there at Station 8, serving both communities.
Great, thank you. Any comments or questions? No. Any public comment? Any questions?
I see none.
Great, thank you, sir. Now moving on to item 10. I see all ready to go.
Hello again. Hi. Really excited to give this announcement. We kind of foreshadowed it a little bit last month, but we did get our letter from the Board of Forestry, the California Board of Forestry, that we will be included in the 2-year fire protection risk reduction community list. Next slide. And what does that mean? Initially, we applied for this last fall. I uploaded 82 documents into this application. We applied as a special district. I don't know if you remember any of the background, but the town was going to apply for this, but they didn't meet some of the criteria for the application. So the district went ahead and stepped in and applied. So it benefits everybody inside the fire district boundaries. What are the benefits? You get priority if you're looking to fill a grant. You'll get priority in that the applicant gets the priority if they're on this list. And then there's a possible insurance discount for the homeowner's insurance piece. So those are two of the benefits of this list. So if you would like more information on that, we have the links there on the side, but you can read. This was the initial flyer that they produced for the application. So this kind of tells you all about the different, I know we don't usually do grants. If you see the list of the things under the grants, we're pretty much doing all of those already in our programs. But again, it shows you that opportunity is anybody in the fire district that wants to apply for a grant also gets that benefit. D, next slide, please. And so what this looks like, this is a little sample on the left of a template of a homeowner's insurance form. So if you ask to see your actual insurance form from your insurer. So now there's 2 opportunities inside the fire district. The first opportunity is this community reduction list, fire or FRRCL, because we have to give everything an acronym. So that's the first possible discount that you can get. And that can be anybody in the district. They do not have to live in a Firewise community, which is the second discount that's possible. And again, this comes out of the Safer from Wildfire from the Insurance Commissioner's Office, these discounts that are possibility with accepted carriers inside of California insurance carriers. So encouraging our Firewise communities already, we've been doing that to go and get their Firewise discount. And now secondarily, anybody in the district can go on a renewal time and see about getting the reduction here for being on this list. The list actually starts, next slide, July 1st is when we start the next slide. Next slide. So July 1st, you'll actually be able to see the list online. So that hyperlink is in on the agenda items. And this list is active for 2 years. So if you go and look right now, you'll see the 2024. We had one city in Santa Clara County, Saratoga, that was on the 2024 list. I think you'll see at least 3 or 4 communities that'll be on that list this year, one of which will be our fire district. Last slide. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, or you can reach out to Firewise Info, and we can talk about that.
Any questions, comments?
Questions?
We'll start over here.
Okay. First, I want to start by commending the team for all the work that you've done to get this application to the Department of Forestry, right? So I'm curious about how this framework changes things for us, right? Since we already do great work with the HIZ and the chipping program and all these things, how does this particular one change it? And does it, this new strategy, does it change a new strategy for us? And all the benefits that you said about the insurance, I think a lot of community members are very concerned, and this will be a big relief to them to, know that these 2 options are there, the A and B options. And for my own understanding, is this our first time applying for this? And you said it'll stay for 2 years. Is it a renewable thing, or is it something that once you get it, it's there, or how does this work?
Okay, so I'm going to
Thanks.
start with the last question. It is not evergreen. So in 2 years, we'll need to reapply. And we would reapply as a district. The town is also hoping to be able to apply to have one of the documents that they needed to have updated. They hope to have that and apply for the next 2-year cycle. So it's not evergreen. It is a reapplying. I think, to answer the question overall, when you put in a grant, you have to do a lot of an introduction page. And that's what this in the grant format, this is where that helps. You get to have priority for approval, but you also don't have to show all of the mitigation efforts that you're doing in the community. That's what those 82 documents were, is showing all of the things that we're doing as a fire district, all the things that you named. Those are the types of documents that I was uploading. The education pieces, the mitigation pieces, the management pieces of the vegetation, all of those different things, the Firewise communities, all the things that we're doing were part of that application. So I think where it meets a shortfall or a gap is there isn't a clearinghouse to upload this type of information. So it gives a clearinghouse of a place where all these documents are uploaded and they're seeing what's happening by the fire district in the fire district boundaries. So there just isn't that place to put that stuff. Now there's a place, and this recognition of this list shows that those communities have done that work and are doing that work and continue to do that work. So that's where the renewal phase would come in.
That's wonderful. Does this help you unlock, resources, more resources for keeping our, as it is, our district is doing such a great job. So does it help, unlock certain resources for
Yeah, I don't
fire
know.
safety?
Yeah, I think what I'm finding right now is it opens a communication channel. It's one of the things that we were bringing up, like I said, in my Firewise meetings. It's something new. It's something that anybody can do right now if they have an accepted carrier in California. So it's something that anybody can step in. So it gives a talking point where maybe we've hit someone with all the other things. Join the Firewise community, have an HIZ. Hey, did you realize you can get 2 discounts? Possibly you can get a discount from this list for anybody. And then if you're in a Firewise community, you also have the potential to get a discount. So I think it is right now more of a talking point. If we were going to be applying for grants, then yes, it does open up a little bit of a streamlined process for us and a possibility of approval over somebody else because of our work. Thank you.
Thank you.
George, him?
Yeah, almost a couple of weeks ago, I went to a cities association meeting, and they had a forum featuring 4 people regarding emergency preparedness and response, and one of them was Chief Kirkaw. She was there, and the moderator was from the city of Saratoga, and at one point she bragged about being a fire reduction community city. So I wrote down on my notebook here, whatever the heck that is, how come we're not that? So I'm glad to see you answer that question and get us along that path. Thank you.
I think they will be again this year, but they were, like I said, the only city on the 2024 list in the Santa Clara County. I think Los Gatos will be on there, and Saratoga. I don't know. I could kind of, when I put my application, I could spy on everybody in the state that was putting in their application. So I was seeing who else in the county was putting in an application, but we'll see what the final list July 1st ends up having.
Okay.
So,
Thanks.
Thanks for asking.
And in a way, the more limited that list is, the better it speaks for us. And I imagine anyone who hears about this, they're going to want to know from us, how do I get this information? Where's that link that I can prove to my insurance agent there's something they should do?
Or appeal the cancellation.
That instruction is going to be a very popular instruction. That's what I'm thinking. And of course, since I've already lost mine, I hope it may preserve insurance for a lot of people if they get out in front of their carriers this year and say, hey, before you start reevaluating, do you know that we're in a special area? And in a way, I think it means more. I expect it means more than Firewise as a destination insurance, because it really does speak to, on an average, of significant things being done. So this is great stuff. And this is what residents have been asking for. What can you do to help me with insurance? And it's such an impossible problem starting out with. Here's something tangible. So this is really, really exciting and super positive news.
Yeah, and just real quick, as you saw on that third slide where it said community level mitigations. So the individual homeowner can do residential mitigation. So there's lists of all kinds of things, that they can do, Class A roofs, all kinds of different options. This again is another box beyond that they can do for 2 boxes actually in that community mitigation area of that renewal forum. So, yeah.
Great.
Quick question.
Yes.
When you say Saratoga, does that also include Montessorino, or are they separate entities?
Separate. It was just the city of Saratoga.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any public comments on this item?
I see none.
Yeah, okay, great. Thank you very much. What a wonderful
you.
report. Okay, moving on to item 11. This is about the I-280 shaded fuel break project. This will be Operations and Administrative Manager Fairman providing us a report.
Good evening, President Spring, Vice President McDonald, Commissioners, Fire District staff, and members of the public.
Make sure that the microphone is sort of bent over towards you. Make sure that everyone really hears you.
Joining me this evening to provide an update on the I-280 Los Altos Hills County Fire District Community Shaded Fuel Break Connectivity Project are Justin Hansel Durbin, TRC Principal Engineer, Programs Planning and Grants Manager Woods, IHFR Specialist Ori. I will begin with an update on the request for proposals process. As discussed during the presentation at the May 19th commission meeting, the Fire District issued the request for proposals on April 29th, 2026 through Bid and Go, the County of Santa Clara's procurement platform. The mandatory pre-proposal meeting took place on May 13th. The deadline for proposers to submit questions was May 18th. Responses to all submitted questions were posted on May 27th through Bidingo. The deadline to submit proposals was June 2nd. Staff are currently evaluating the proposals received and will begin the interview process next week. Our goal is to issue the notice of intent to award. Staff will prepare a memorandum recommending contract award for consideration at the July commission meeting. Pending commission approval, the contract will be finalized and executed in July. The project is anticipated to begin in August, following review and approval of critical project submittals by TRC and district staff, and after the conclusion of FIFA World Cup related events. As a reminder, in order to ensure a fair and competitive process, staff cannot comment on or respond to questions pertaining to the solicitation and proposal evaluation process at this time, beyond providing a high-level overview of the project and solicitation deadlines. Further information will be provided to the Commission and public after the conclusion of the solicitation process and a notice of intent to award is issued. Concludes my portion of the presentation. I will now turn it over to Justin for the next update. Thank you.
Thank you, Aida, and thanks for everybody allowing me to speak and provide this update to the Commission. For TRC's end, we are collaborating with the project team at the district and stakeholders while they review the bids and select the contractor. There's lots to do still, so we are preparing for the upcoming construction, working with the district to meet stakeholders such as the town of Los Altos Hills, Caltrans, and other neighboring property holders, the county, and working on any updates associated with the upcoming Caltrans encroachment permit, the town permits, and any updates that need to happen to the design, so that we can make sure that when the contractor is onboarded, they are as ready to go as they can be, and developing different scope approaches so that when we hit the field, everybody's prepared and ready to go. I think that's it for my update. I can pass it back to Aida, or it's Eugenia's next. I think.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Justin. Thanks, Aida. We'll move to the next slide. This is new information for folks. This is the beginning of the outreach plan. We'll have 2 parts right now, the Regional Partners Outreach Plan, and that will be media releases, liaison meetings, monthly presentation to the city council and the commission. And we'll also do 4-week and 2-week look-ahead planning information in the terms of media releases and meetings with the people who have jurisdiction and permits and things that have met with us. And we have also created an opt-in email list where both our residents and our regional partners will be able to opt in for a weekly update that will get pushed out. So that will help the schools and the businesses and everyone that uses this corridor know when the lane closures and shoulder closures and things will be happening. And then there's also under development our agency notification list that's in all of our permits, such as the sheriff's office, CHP, our fire agencies, to make sure that we're meeting their notification requirements, their PIO plan requirements, and also if there's anything that we need to do on their behalf. So far, we've got a dozen agencies that have talked to us about, yes, we'll amplify your message. We really want to be part of the communication web, and we just continue to build liaisons who will push out our message and make sure the things that their constituents have told them they need to hear about, that'll happen. So all the residential options that are listed on the right are also available to our regional partners. More specifically, we have the changeable message signs that'll go up in August, our target start date. We're going to approach this with not only the email opt-in list and meetings, but also flyers mailed directly to people. So we'll have that, multi-layered approach that you've heard us talk about with evacuation routes, but on the grand scale of messaging, mail, community meetings, hybrid meetings, the commission and the council meetings. And of course our social media and things like that. Next slide. Okay, our update, May and June milestones and what we have in progress. Ed, Ori, and I will present this information together. I'll kick it off with the mention of the town council meeting. General Manager Logan and I presented an overview and an update on Thursday night to everyone. Well received, good questions, and it was effectively the beginning of our regional partner kickoff cycles that we'll be doing. And then the next thing that's happened is I've heard back from town staff with the 4 committees that Director Kim had asked me to reach out to at the town to get an opportunity to be on their smaller meeting agendas and go more in depth on the construction plan documents that we have and things like that. So that's in the works, getting scheduled for July and August. I'm just starting to hear back from those committee chairs as of this morning. So I will pass the baton to Ed at this point.
Hi, good evening, President Spreen, Vice President McDonald, and commissioners. It's nice to see you all in person. So the first week of June, HFR project manager Ryan Cronin and I helped support DUDEC biologists, and I want to mention Anya provided great technical support for that. So that was the second visit in the project area to do a thorough botanical survey. The report will come out in early July. There was one plant found within the project area. It's a bush mallow. It's a very innocuous plant, but it won't pose any great difficulty for operations. It's a very small area, and it'll be incidental. Projects of this type, it's typical to do an archaeological study to ensure that our project is not going to impact any historic or prehistoric resources out there. So in doing our due diligence, DUDEC archaeologists have done their work, but unfortunately the typical report is confidential. But in the interest of transparency and to show all the hard work and to assure the public that we've done our due diligence to protect those resources, Program Manager Woods has requested that a non-confidential report be prepared. So working through that now. with county council. Also this month, Manager Woods and I had a meeting with Midpin to look at some options and opportunities for staging areas in support of the I-280 project. So we're hoping to get a permit by the end of this month or early next month, but working through the particulars on that right now. And then also conversations are continuing with Caltrans to secure an encroachment permit. That's on track, but we're trying to get as much flexibility in their scope of work allowances for the contractors' benefits, the district to get the best outcome. So that's continuing on. And then the PIO team for this project is still coming together amongst the various partners and contributors, stakeholders. And that's end of report.
Any questions and comments here?
Yeah, one more slide.
Oh, one more. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Quick update on the related satellite project. You may recall that the interchanges were pulled out and handled as satellite projects. We have the draft of the scope of services where we've divided up, if you will, the fuels crews responsibilities and the fire safe council and the district responsibilities. You may recall this is the first project where we've had the opportunity to put together to start the agreement with using the county fire fuels crews. So that will be on General Manager Logan's desk this week, so we can work through the triangle of who's doing what and making the project come together in October. Now we have next slide, should be end of report. Yep, thank you.
Comments up here? Seeing none, great. Looks like a lot of stuff's been in progress, I know, and it's, you can feel the pyramid building as everything comes together. Any public comments on this?
I see none.
Okay, thank you. In that case, we will move on to item 12, an update on the partnership for 2 programs with the town of Los Altos Hills. General Manager Logan reporting.
Yes, thank you, President Spreen, Vice President McDonald, commissioners, staff, and public. This is, again, one of my update reports letting you know about how we've been ambassadoring these 2 programs, their partnerships with the town of Los Altos Hills. And first, I'd like to speak about the tree hazard assessment program, because that's been shuttled back and forth this month from the commission report last in May, and then to OBA to make sure that it was on track to go in front of the Board of Supervisors for appropriation of the funding for the $109,000 that would support adding this component to the HIZ program. And so Finance and IT Manager Moriali and I spent 3 days, I guess, last week with the budget hearings in front of the Board of Supervisors, and we're very pleased that that modification to our submitted budget did go through, was approved. And so we have that $109,000 that can then be added to make the total program $600,000 for HIZ for the year. FY 26-27. Now, that said, we have the budget set aside, but now what we do is we now have to tool up the program. And so the program will be writing the program for what the tree hazard assessment will be. And then, as you know, for the HIZ, we have an advisory, and updating the advisory to include then the HIZ, that section, that component into the HIZ advisory that will be distributed to residents. And it forms our guidelines that Fire Safe Council and the district uses as we go out and do the HIZs. So that's on track. That's what I'll be doing this month, and working with OBA in the county and getting that on track to appear then to the Board of Supervisors for the county to be approved as a program that will be a part of the district's montage of fire protections. So we've got the funding. Next step then is the program, and we'll get that on its way. So that's the plan for that one partnership with the Los Altos Hills town. The second is the shared services resources, that is the emergency management. I'm working with Santa Clara County Fire Department now to put together a memorandum of understanding, and that will be to have a cost allocation with the hours, the task, the time it's going to take for that shared services, get that put together, and that will be an agreement, a memorandum of understanding between the district and Central Fire, since they are providing the resource, and that would be a cost sharing, be a funding for the cost that's being shared for us. So that's on track also. And so it's back and forth between the council and the commission, keeping everybody in track, and then watching out for these various steps, and with the county and with OBA and the Board of Supervisors. So that's my update. Happy to have any conversation. You'll notice in the general manager report, Eugenia Woods and I did a presentation on Thursday to the Los Altos Hills Council, and that presentation is there. She provided the overview of the I-280 with the PIO, particularly noted in that the public information outreach section. And then I also provided a memorandum to these two partnership programs, keeping the commission or the council updated, and now to the commission, and then I'll go back to the council again. So it's called collaboration.
Any comments, questions?
Thank you.
Good. I think I want to point out how people don't realize how much to create something like this new takes bringing a lot of people together to make that happen. And I don't know if people appreciate how many steps have to go through. So I appreciate it being here, hearing about it at every step. So thank you.
Well, thank you, because I want the commission to be very assured that any step we take to expend taxpayers' money is fully vetted, is very transparent, has gone through all of the rigors and all the vetting that needs to take place, which involves the council, the commission, and the county, OBA, and the Board of Supervisors. Those are all of our authorities that have to approve what we do in expending taxpayers' money. So not only do we have good programs and projects, but we've got to be very transparent to the public as to how we expend those funds. And so that is where we are today in making sure this all comes together.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Any public comment?
It's nice to see that they're going to include the dead and dying trees, because that will make a huge difference for wildfire. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any public comment on this item?
I see none.
Okay, great. Moving on to item 13. This will be approval of the Fryer and Loretta professional service agreement. This will be Operations and Administrative Manager Fairman providing us report.
Good evening, President Spring, Vice President McDonald, Commissioners, members of the public, and Fire District staff. Item 13 will require action to be taken by the Commission after I complete my presentation. As I mentioned during my presentation at the April Commission meeting, the Los Altos Hills County Fire District is responsible for the operation and maintenance of 552 fire hydrants and their appurtenances located within its jurisdiction. 6 years ago, in June 2020, following a search for engineering vendors, the district entered into a professional services agreement with Fryer and Loretta to provide on-call engineering consulting services related to the operations, maintenance, and administration of the hydrant water system that connects to the Purisima Hills Water District water mains. On April 2nd of 2026, the district issued a request for statements of qualifications, an RFSOQ solicitation, to retain a professional engineering consulting firm to provide a range of engineering consulting and related professional services beginning July 1st, 2026. In light of the district's upcoming complex projects, the RFSQ solicited services for a broader array of projects and operational needs, in addition to the on-call engineering services for operations, maintenance, and administration of the hydrant water system covered by the existing professional services agreement. The RFSQ was published through Bid and Go, the County of Santa Clara's electronic procurement system. The platform provided functionality and ease of access to viewers, and staff observed viewer interest in reading the solicitation materials. The solicitation closed on April 23rd, 2026, and the sole qualifying proposal was submitted by Fryer and Loretta. District staff reviewed and evaluated Fryer and Loretta's submission. District staff found that Fryer and Loretta's RFSQ proposal to be highly responsive, service-oriented, and professional. Given Fryer and Loretta's history with the district, Fran Loretta also demonstrated ways to add even more value and assist with projects beyond on-call hydrant repairs by providing broader general engineering consulting services as other project areas are determined. At the conclusion of the review and evaluation process, district staff selected Fran Loretta to recommend to the Board of Commissioners for award of the professional services agreement. District staff proceeded in the solicitation process in accordance to the county policies and practices and with the guidance of District Legal Counsel. This item supports Strategic Plan Goal 3, infrastructure, and the objective to preserve and develop physical and digital assets that support life, safety, and property, and district operations, and the initiative to maintain and manage district-owned hydrant system and the related strategic plan strategies. Tonight, the staff recommendation to the Board of Commissioners is to approve professional services agreement between Los Altos Hills County Fire District and Fran Loretta for engineering consulting services and related professional services for various projects and tasks effective July 1st, 2026, in an amount not to exceed $135,000 per year and an initial term of 2 years with options to extend for up to 5 additional years. That has been reviewed and approved by County Council as to form and legality. This concludes my presentation. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions here? Seeing none. Any public? Let's go ahead. Let's have a motion in a second first. Let's see.
Tyson moves approval of the professional services agreement with Fryer and Loretta as noted in item 13.
Thank you.
Tonka seconds.
Perfect. Any public comments? I think say we have one here.
Alan Epstein, I live in the district. I'd be interested in learning how many responses were received, what were the names of the companies that submitted acceptable responses, and how was the evaluation done to choose Fryer and Loretta? Thank you.
Thank you. Once this is approved and signed, we can get information to you. We'll be in contact with you on that. Okay, let's, any other public comments? Seeing none,
I see none.
let's take a roll call.
Okay. President Spreen.
Yes.
Vice President McDonald.
Yes.
Commissioner Kadambi.
Yes.
Commissioner Tonka.
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson.
Yes.
And the motion passes 5-0 with 2 absent.
Thank you so much. Moving on to item 14, which is approval of the 8th Amendment to the Santa Clara County Fire Safe Council Professional Services Agreement.
Item 14, Amendment Number 8 to the Professional Services Agreement with Santa Clara County Fire Safe Council for Program Services will require action to be taken by the Commission after I complete my presentation. The Los Altos Hills County Fire District Services Delivery Model benefits from partnership and collaboration with its key regional partners. Regionalization is core to the Fire District mission, chart of services, and a strategic plan, and the subject agreement with the Santa Clara County Fire Safe Council is a major aspect of this strategy. A professional services agreement was entered into with Fire Safe Council in 2021 and has generally been amended annually to extend the agreement term to cover the next fiscal year and establish a not to exceed compensation amount for each fiscal year. The Fire Safe Agreement provides the services to implement these prevention measures, such as the District Integrated Hazardous Fuel Reduction Program, IHFR, that includes programs for defensible space, chipping, and debris removal, satellite interchange projects, evacuation routes, vegetation management, flashy fuel projects, and strategic community fuel break projects, planning, project management, and programs oversight, HIC assessments and rebate program, and community education and outreach, COE services. Amendment number 8, Exhibit J, contains the fiscal year 26-27 budget with a not to exceed amount of $2,747,000, which represents the full amount of contract fiscal budget commitment. The Fire Safe Council rate sheet for 26-27. Amendment number 8 also amends the scope of work by amending Exhibits A, C, and H. The contract budget commitment for fiscal year 26-27 represents an increase of $371,922 compared to fiscal year 25-26. This increase is driven by continued growth and positive developments in two key service areas: the Integrated Hazardous Fuel Reduction (IHFR) program and the Community Education and Risk Reduction (CERR). Notable projects and programs within these service areas, including evacuation route deliverables, home ignition zone HIC assessments, and rebate programs, have expanded significantly over the past several years, contributing to the increased budget commitment and enhancing services to the residents. This item supports Fire District Strategic Goals number 1 and number 2. Strategic Goal number 1, prevention, protection, resiliency by hardening evacuation routes and supporting reduction of hazardous fuels by residents. Strategic Goal number 2, preparedness by increasing knowledge in the community around preparedness and supporting continued education for community members. Tonight, a staff recommendation to the Board of Commissioners is to approve the 8th Amendment to the Professional Services Agreement for Program Services with Santa Clara County Fire Safe Council. This concludes my presentation. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions here from the Commission? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion and a second to approve this PSA.
So moved, Tanka.
Thank you.
Adambi seconds.
Adambi second, great. Any public comments? Seeing
I see none.
none, let's take a roll call.
President Spreen.
Yes.
Vice President McDonald.
Yes.
Commissioner Kadambi. Commissioner Tonka.
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson.
Yes.
All right, and the motion passes 5-0 with 2 absent.
Moving on to item 15. Thank you very much. 15A is a report to summarize the public hearing on vacant positions that is required by California Government Code Section 3502.3. Finance and IT Manager Moriali will provide us a report.
Yes, President Spreen, Vice President McDonald, and members of the Commission. This is our second annual report of this type, but it will be an annual report from this point forward, given the new law that's come out regarding vacant positions. Next slide, please. This is a Government Code Section 3502.3 requirement, and the actions tonight are basically to receive the staff memorandum report, to have a public hearing, to consider the position vacancy status, to open the public hearing and receive testimony, and to close the public hearing. Next slide, please. So this was enacted January 1st, 2025. So you saw this report last year for the first time during budget adoption. You will see it every year at budget adoption at this time of year. And it's only presented once a year. It also aligns very nicely with the staff reports that are also in the budget narrative as well. So it's a nice time to present this information together. And it's also required to be heard before the budget is adopted as well. And next slide. So we're pleased to report that as of this point in time, we're 88.7% of all personnel positions are filled. Last year, we were about that amount, but we're nearly at 100%. So we're very happy to report that, leaving 1.53 FTEs remaining vacant as of the end of the year. So I can recall, as I started with the district about 4 years ago now, my gosh, we had 4 or 5 employees. And it took us a while to build up to this point. And for a while there, we had, several open vacancies, but we're almost to the point where every single employee position is filled. And you can see that obviously in the work. And so thank you, Commission, for allowing us those resources. And by the way, President Speen talked about the picnic, and you'll see a few pictures of the picnic here as well. There you see D. King Rob underneath the tent, and in the previous pictures you saw other staff members enjoying the public, and there was a lot of interest in the HAC in particular. Next slide. So this is the reporting as of today, and you can see essentially the total count of 13.5, which has not changed since last year. As of this point in time, including I think the changes that are in effect this evening, those are the filled positions, 11.97, leaving 1.53 open. And the only vacancies. We have a community event specialist. That position is open. We have some extra room in operations admin manager, and in my position, finance information technology manager. So with that, you can almost say that almost every single position is filled, and a couple have a little bandwidth in terms of approved hours. So with that, that is the status of our positions as of June 23rd, 2026. Next slide. In terms of what the commission is doing and what the district is doing, I did not change the slide from last year. There's a really robust program. In fact, Marcy Scott, our HR consultant, has a lot to do with this, as well as General Manager Logan and this commission. But we have benefit packages that are fully in place now, deferred comp packages, also healthcare packages, and EAP packages as well. You will see, if you look at the training that staff has undergone, there's much more robust expenditures on training and conferences that have been taking place. Our budgetary structure, we think, is now aligned with strategically, and it's aligned also to assemble teams to get the jobs done. And the job descriptions are continually updated with the help of county council. And at the same time, there's a continual effort to address personal development opportunities for all staff. Our next slide, please. Additionally, as we will be again in August, we have our annual work plans, our annual strategic meetings. We just got done with one just a while ago. These meetings are critical in assembling the team and really talking about mission and objectives. At the same time, we do everything we can to recruit top talent. And the general manager, Logan, does a wonderful job of reaching out and making sure that she gets the best that she can, given the many duties that are this group is responsible for. And with that, engaging with our regional partners is also a very viable way to identify opportunities for workforce planning and workforce leveraging as well. So I didn't change the slide at all. Those efforts continue. And with that, I believe, with the next slide, we're basically at the section where the commission can look at the hearing and open it and close it and ask questions.
Thank you very much. Before we open the public hearing, are there any clarifying questions needed? Seeing none. Okay, in that case, I will now open the public hearing. The time is 8:26 p.m. Please note, if any members of the public would like to provide comment on the position vacancy status reporting requirements pursuant to California Government Code Section 3502.3, now is the time to do so. Any and all persons interested may appear and be heard. Public testimony for this item will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Are there any comments from the public?
No, I see none.
Oh, surprising. Okay, let's close the public hearing. Thank you. Public hearing is now closed. The time is 8:27 p.m. Any more discussion from the commission on this? Seeing none, we will move on to item 16. Item 16A is a report on the fiscal year 27 budget, which will be followed by item 16B to adopt the district's fiscal year 27 budget, and 16C to approve the district budget narrative. Finance and IT Manager Morreale will be providing us this wonderful report.
Well, thank you again, commissioners. It's a pleasure to present this, and we are ecstatic because to really get to the end result of the report, we are happy to announce that we have a budget. And we'll get into more of that later, but we heard as recently as of this week and today that our budget has been fully adopted by the county. So congratulations to you and all your guidance in letting us get to this point. With that, next slide, please. So the recommendation is to essentially receive the report. And we'll give you an update as to what we heard at the Santa Clara County hearings, to adopt the budget this evening for 26-27, and to approve the budget narrative. You don't essentially adopt the budget narrative, but you approve it in that it communicates the budget, if you will. Next slide, please. What you have in your packets is the full budget narrative that has now been updated for the adopted numbers. So these are the numbers that you might recollect you saw on May 19th of last month. So it's updated for all those numbers. You have a new Exhibit A, and that Exhibit A is very detailed, but it's what the county, what we do transmit to the county. So they essentially enter every single one of our line items in their county system, hence the very detailed report that you see there as well. You also have an updated service area budget. And again, we don't have the service area budget systematized within our general ledger yet, but this is an off-system report that we are starting to develop and we provide to our managers, and it helps us build the budget by meeting with each manager each year. And then something new this year, per our discussions with OBA, they actually asked us to put that same position report in to the narratives as an addendum. And what that essentially does is it kind of codifies your authorization beyond the authorizations that you give us with each contract. It essentially codifies within the narrative the authorization for these positions. And it's something that the county does as well in their budgeting process. So that's one new addition to the narrative this year as an addendum. Next slide, please. So the approach has not changed except for one. What you might notice if you look closely at the numbers is that in the original budgets up to this point, I assumed that the two fire engines, fire truck would be paid for this year, actually in 25, 26, and that the fire engines would be somewhere in the future. Well, we just learned that the fire truck will be here, we think, December, January. So December 26 or January 2027 in my last conversations with Chief Kirkhow. So what we did, although it doesn't affect your total appropriations, what we did is we shifted the fund balance use for those two vehicles. So that's the only difference you'll see. The ending fund balance ends up being the same, but except now it's being shown as a use of reserves. But beyond that, the total appropriations did not change as well. The other thing that changed, of course, is now the $109,000 for the enhanced HIZ program related to the proposed tree program is now in your budget as well. So relative to the last numbers you saw, expenditures are the same, and we made a shift in terms of when we expect to pay for the fire truck. $1.9 million. We expect to pay it December 26 or January 27. And the fire engines, about $2.3 million. We think that will be 27, 28. That's our best guess right now. And we're so pleased that the water tender is on its way. Next slide, please. So budget status, you saw this last time, and everything in blue now has been completed. And we went to General Manager Logan and I went to the hearings on the 15th, 16th, and 18th with the county. On the 15th, they looked specifically at the $109,000 adjustment. And that at that point in time, by default, because it was not pooled or accepted, we knew it was looked like it was on its way to being approved, and it ultimately was being approved. On the 16th, the entire budget was heard, including the district budget as well as central fire and all the fire districts. And again, nothing was pulled at that point in time, and all the budget requests that this commission has previously approved were included. So at this point, we have a total budget in place. In terms of what the General Manager Logan mentioned about the EMS program, that's a future proposition. Those dollars aren't necessarily in the budget at this time, but when that contract is ultimately and hopefully approved and developed, we will come back to the county and to this commission should there need to be a budget adjustment on that particular piece. But that's where we are. So everything in blue has been completed, bringing us through this point in time this evening. Next slide, please. Just repetitive here. I just basically want to say that the ending adopted secured budget comes out to $22,282,786. There are rollovers that are not included in that number, and we just heard, I think at 3 o'clock today, from Office of Budget and Analysis that those rollovers were approved as well. So the combination of those two amounts makes up the total appropriation authority for the district. The importance of the rollovers is that it includes I-280, it includes the apparatus and the fire trucks and some key technology initiatives as well. So that's the importance of the rollovers that were approved. Next slide, please. So this is your budget. I won't go through it in detail, but you can see one nuance that's different. If you look at ending funding balance and you look above that, it says use of reserves. That's a typo, my mistake. That use of reserves should say 1 fire truck, not 2 fire engines. My apologies. But what I did is I presented it differently this year, knowing that even though it's not in the official appropriation and it's in rollover, but knowing with high confidence that it will be paid for, I'm showing it as a use of reserves to arrive at the same projected ending funding balance number. So that's a little bit different. We haven't shown that before, but I think it was most appropriate knowing that we are near 100% sure that a check is going to be cut for that amount in the next 26, 27 year. I wanted to show you also on the very right, just a snippet of the resolution that the county Board of Supervisors approved in adopting our budget. That's what was appeared on their agenda, and that's what they voted on to approve the budget for the district and for all of their component units. Next slide, please. In terms of our rollovers, I won't go through it in detail, but there's some $9.3 million, and you can see the first 2 are the apparatus, and the large dollar amount being the I-280 as well. Okay, so if you think about the I-280 program in general, you take the rollovers, you take what's in this year's budget as well, you get a sense for the magnitude and the scope of it, and that's all been preserved in this process. And next slide, please. So this is it. This is the path that we've walked through, and we're down to our last check mark, which is this evening. So again, congratulations to this commission for all these public meetings, all this transparency, to General Manager Logan for guiding the vision and the strategy for this, which goes all the way back to August of last year. That's really when it started for us, when we had our planning session. And next slide, please. So with that, I just wanted to show you what actually appears in the county agenda. And this is what appeared in their agenda that they voted on the 15th of June. So this is what they read and voted on. So they know the appropriation has been allotted for this program. And then, as General Manager Logan mentioned, then we go on to the next step. So that has been secured. So in total, we have $600,000 set aside for HIZ. And it brings me back to this comical story when I was talking to Denise Gluhan about 3 years ago, and we just weren't spending money on HIZ. It was $2 or $3 or $4,000, and Denise said, "Russ, it's going to come." In fact, we were talking about lowering what we had allocated, but she said, "No, $300,000 is it, and it will come." And she's exactly right. So $600,000 we feel will be that target in the future. Next slide, please. So with that, I also want to remind the commission that there's real heavy hitter items that were included in the budget above the baseline. And that's, again, I-280, that's above and beyond the rollover. You have increased HIZ trends. Evacuation routes, we had increased and blended in the Flashy Fuels program. The new website and document management systems are in there, and other contingencies related to consulting services and community outreach. So all those items, the 3,905, are included now in the budget. And what's interesting about the county process is they really were not included until June 16th. That's when we knew that they accepted the commission's requests at that point in time. Next slide, please. So again, our priority remains service. It remains fire prevention. If you add this up, you'll see close to 75% of all the dollars spent go right to fire safety and right to fire mitigation. As I mentioned in the past, if you add in staffing and labor, you're probably up to close to 88 to 87% of every dollar we spend goes right to fire mitigation and fire safety for the community. Next slide. It's refreshing to look at this because this is the first slide that we presented back in October, November. It was the vision of where we wanted to be. And I'm proud to say that we held true to this, and everything on this mission statement we realized in this budget. So we held true to the mission. Next slide, please. So with that, there's many people to thank. The community, the residents, and all our community partners. Commissioners, I cannot thank you enough. In my long career in budget creation, I've always held true to one key point, and that is if leadership sets the strategy and leadership sets the vision, the budget will naturally follow. So your strategic plan is everything. It's everything to us in terms of guiding the dollars. Can't thank county OBA and county council enough for their help in the entire process, not just the budget, but contracting and even going through our projections in terms of our RFPs and things of that nature, how that helps our budget process. But county OBA in particular was just stellar in a very extremely challenging year, and General Manager Logan could speak to that. They went through a whirlpool of challenges this year, and they came up on top. But that they gave us the attention we needed as well, which we were really humbled to get that attention. Central Fire, can't thank our collaboration with Central Fire enough in terms of the apparatus, the 10-year agreement, which was monumental in this budget process as well. And then, of course, management and Marcy Scott in terms of her leadership, in terms of her HR, all of our staff, and then, of course, last but not least, of course, my finance staff and finance team, which includes, Jane Corpus, Serena Revelar, and Corey is a big part of that team as well. So with that, we have a budget.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I'm so glad that the finance staff is there to see this too, because it really is the culmination of a year of a lot of work. And you get 1 month off, and then we get to start over again, right? But seriously, and I really don't want to lose the point that humbling is the right word, that as celebratory as we can be about this, this is while the county has gone through tremendously painful cuts. A lot of people have had a lot of things, they're going to have a much more stressful year, and everything on our very focused vision has been allowed to proceed. So I feel very thankful to everyone in the county and that really speaks to our staff for making very clear what our vision is and what benefits we're bringing to our residents that follows our strategic plan. So thank you all for being so involved in that. Any questions or comments?
A quick question, if you don't mind. Sorry, I didn't mean I should get up. It's just a random wondering, when we order the fire engines and the ladder truck, do you have to put down a down payment, and then do you pay as they build, like it's 25% complete, and then you give 25% of the amount, or do you pay it all at the end when it's completed?
It's the latter, Vice President.
Okay.
No, it's the latter. Our contract with Central Fire is that we will reimburse them upon delivery and acceptance. So it's really good given how long it's been.
Yeah.
We talked about this in the beginning when we were contracting, because we knew it might have been a 3-year tail. And, to put that $500,000 or $1 million up front, with interest and all that, didn't seem like the right way to go. But the district will refund 100% of it upon acceptance and delivery.
Okay.
Now, the water tender was a bit different. The water tender was paid up front for various reasons. But the 2 fire engines and the fire truck, once they accept, once it's delivered, Central Fire will contact us, and we'll reimburse them the total 100% amount. Is that correct, General Manager Lowe?
Yeah. Thank you.
The way the contract was drafted.
Thank you very much.
In fact, we even put a cap on how much we would reimburse. So because we knew that over a period of time, it could be 4 to 5 years, who knows? So we put a cap on what the reimbursement amount would be up to.
Okay.
So I just wanted to say thank you for such meticulous and diligent work. And you did a lot of heavy lifting, everyone. So as a commissioner, as well as, being part of the community, I say thank you to you.
I want to thank the commission and General Manager Logan as well. It's kind of behind the scenes, but the importance of that 10-year contract with Central Fire was everything, especially in terms of allowing us to project and forecast. And by the way, for Commissioner Tonka, we heard you loud and clear on the need for a 10-year forecast, and we are planning to present that in July.
Thank you. I really appreciate
yes,
that.
Yes, and it is an important document, as you mentioned.
Always an impressive budget. Well presented.
Any comments here? Any public comments?
No, I see none.
In that case, let's move on to item 16B, which is entertaining a motion to adopt the fiscal year 27 budget of the Los Altos Hills County Fire District and to approve the fiscal year 27 budget narrative. Will the commissioner making the motion and the commissioner seconding, please?
McDonald moves.
McDonald moves.
Tyson seconds.
I think Tyson got in there in a second. Okay.
There's no thirds.
Any more? Yeah. Any discussion? Any public comment? Let's take a roll call.
President Spreen,
Yes.
Vice President McDonald.
Yes.
Commissioner Kadambi.
Yes.
Commissioner Tonka.
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson.
Yes.
Right, and the motion passes 5-0 with 2 absent.
Thank you so much. Now moving on to item 17 to adopt a resolution 26-08 establishing fiscal year 27 appropriations limit. And now that we've celebrated the budget, we're going to call you back up to do the next thing, which is providing us a report on the appropriations limit.
I'm kind of stealing Corey's thunder because she actually drafted this. So I have the pleasure, the honor of presenting it on her behalf. Essentially, this is an annual event as well. It's the 26-27 appropriations limit. For those of the members of the public that may not be aware, the state of California actually does limit how much a governmental agency can spend based upon revenue projections. So that's what it quantifies. It indicates what the limit is and where we are. And the county actually does this calculation for us. We don't do it. They calculate it on their own. They send it to us. We take a look at it. We ask questions, and then we report it to you. And I believe they did the same this today at their board of supervisors as well. I think they also approved their GAN limit. So with that, the next slide is essentially the limit. This is the actual county calculation. That wasn't created by us. It's $32,977,380. And if you go to the next slide, oh, maybe there isn't one. Yes, here we are. So essentially, we're $10 million under the GAN limit. So we have plenty of breathing room as well. At first, there was a very interesting thought that came to us is the budget rollovers were so large. Right. We confirmed with the county, we had our own research, but we confirmed with the county that the rollovers are not included in that amount. And it makes sense because it's from prior years, it's from prior contracts. So yes, it does not impact the GAN limit.
Okay.
So with that, it's up to your action now.
Any questions?
No.
Nope. Can we have a motion? Let's see. Motion in a second, please.
Kadambi seconds.
No, you go first.
The motion.
Kadambi gets a motion and
to approve. Yes.
Yes.
Kadambi.
McDonald seconds.
Thank you. Any public comment on this? Nope. Any comment? Okay.
None?
Let's take a roll call.
All right, President Spreen.
Yes.
Vice President McDonald.
Yes.
Commissioner Kadambi.
Yes.
Commissioner Tonka.
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson.
Yes.
All right, and the motion passes 5-0 with 2 absent.
Great. Moving on to item 18, personnel. General Manager Logan introducing these items.
Oh, could you turn the mic on? Sorry.
So, Mike, let's get the mic on. Or
Little button.
there you go.
Thank you. I'm pleased to present to you tonight item 18A through 18E, which are to discuss and consider action for 5 employment agreements. The proposed amendments to the employment agreements are included in the District Board of Commissioners agenda pack materials for these items. Government Code Section 54953D3 requires the Commission to orally report a summary of the proposed compensation changes before taking final action to adopt compensation here by approving the employment agreements. Key components of the proposed compensation are described in detail in the proposed employment agreements included in the agenda packet. I will now summarize personnel item 18A. The proposed third amendment to the at-will part-time salaried finance and IT manager employment agreement has an effective date of July 1st, 2026, and includes the following changes to compensation. Wages sets the annual compensation at $137,280, which is equivalent to a rate of pay of $120 an hour. Hours of work decreases to an average of 22 hours per week. Benefits are amended as follows. Vacation leave, vacation accrual of 8.25 days per year, with the maximum accrual at any one time of 132 hours. All other compensation and benefits remain unchanged. I recommend approval.
Thank you. And boy, this is the first of 5, so we're going to keep those motions and seconds coming. I will entertain them. The first one now.
Move to approve.
Great.
Tyson seconds.
Thank you very much. Any public comment? Seeing none, let's take a vote.
Okay. President Spreen,
Yes.
Vice President McDonald,
Yes.
Commissioner Kadambi, Commissioner Tonka, Commissioner Tyson.
Yes.
Hey, motion passes 5-0, 2 absent.
And 18B.
Yes, I will now summarize personnel item 18B. The proposed third amendment to the at-will full-time salaried field manager employment agreement has an effective date of July 1st, 2026, and includes the following changes to compensation. Wages sets the annual compensation at $187,333, which is equivalent to a rate of pay of $90.06 per hour. All other benefits and compensation remain unchanged. I recommend approval.
Thank you. Motion and second.
Kadambi moves to approve 18B.
Thank you.
McDonald seconds.
Perfect. Any public comments? Seeing none, let's vote.
All right. President Spreen.
Yes.
Vice President McDonald.
Yes.
Commissioner Kadambi.
Yes.
Commissioner Tonka. Commissioner Tyson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0, 2 absent.
Thank you very much. 18C.
Yes, I will now summarize personnel item 18C. The proposed third amendment to the at-will full-time hourly general analyst employment agreement has an effective date of July 1st, 2026, and includes the following change to compensation. Wages increases compensation to $73 per hour. All other benefits and compensation remain unchanged. I recommend approval.
Thank you very much. Motion and second.
Tonka moves to approve.
Okay.
McDonald seconds.
Great. Thank you. Public comments? Seeing none?
Okay. President Spreen.
Yes.
Vice President McDonald.
Yes.
Commissioner Kadambi. Commissioner Tonka. Commissioner Tyson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0, 2 absent.
And next.
I will now summarize personnel item 18D. The proposed second amendment to the at-will full-time hourly technical data analyst employment agreement has an effective date of July 1st, 2026, and includes the following changes to compensation. Wages increases compensation to $73 an hour. All of the benefits and compensation remain unchanged. I recommend approval.
Thank you very much. Can I have a motion and a second?
Tyson moves.
Great.
Kadambi seconds.
Thank you. Any public comments? Seeing none, let's vote.
President Spreen.
Yes.
Vice President McDonald.
Yes.
Excuse me. Commissioner Kadambi.
Yes.
Commissioner Tonka.
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with 2 absent.
And 18E.
Yes, I will now summarize personnel item 18E. The proposed first amendment to the at-will part-time hourly integrated hazardous fuel reduction program specialist employment agreement has an effective date of July 1st, 2026, and includes the following changes to compensation. Wages increases compensation to $50 an hour. All of the benefits and compensation remain unchanged. I recommend approval.
Thank you very much. I'll entertain a motion.
McDonald moves.
Excellent.
Tyson seconds.
Excellent. Thank you. Any public comments?
None.
Seeing none, let's vote.
President Spreen.
Yes.
Vice President McDonald.
Yes.
Commissioner Kadambi.
Yes.
Commissioner Tonka.
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0, 2 absent.
Thank you so much.
And that concludes the personnel items. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Moving on to item 19, commission member reports, future agenda items. This is an opportunity for commissioners to provide reports or suggestions for future agenda topics. I actually have one to inform you on. Not a big deal. Next month, we will start our annual general manager performance review. So we will have a closed session next in the July session, a pretty substantial one. So just so letting you know that's coming. So I hope you'll all be there. Either tomorrow or the next day, you will be, as usual, Marcy Scott from MRG will be leading us through the process, it being a personnel type thing. And the next day or two, she'll be contacting each of us individually and confidentially just to give you the timeline and tell you how to prepare for the next closed session meeting. So that's all there is to that. So that's in process. That's for next month. That's all I have for future agenda topics. Unless anyone else has anything else.
I have something to
Please.
say. So I know how the district takes fire science so seriously. And so there was a recent study by UCSB, and it talks about certain resilience factors about different communities. It's surprising that places like Mendocino and certain places in Contra Costa County, the resilience ranges from 65% to 85%. And it's very impressive that certain, so like most, like the communities I said, they fall like somewhere between 65, 70, but our community, falls a little higher than the 85%. So, we are extremely resilient thanks to all the work the team does and the county does. So it's amazing. And they even have done a study where they say there's a six exit threshold. So they talk so much about the fire evacuation routes that we are also proactive about. And then they also talk about neighborhood road networks for egress, easy egress and things like that. So that's another thing that we are already so proactive about. And then they have like an interactive risk mapping. All the work that we do, with limbing and other things, those are all part of the emergency, prevention. Like say, to have, and then they also have the FireWise integration, so spatial data and things like that. So we actually rank very high, and Seth also was, he also had a clip where he talks about this in one of the interviews, Seth Shalit. So I was very gratified to see. And there is a very good interactive map that shows different communities, probably all over the country. But I kind of zoned in on our area and neighboring areas. And it was such a gratifying fact. And I thought for the next agenda, next meeting agenda, we should incorporate the SIR thing too, the CERR, where you have the insurance details and other things, and also to assuage our community members, anxieties and things like that, to show how well our district is doing. So there is a link for that, and people can just, it's very interactive, and they can go look at different communities.
Excellent.
And we're doing very well. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you so much. Excellent. See, any other comments up here? Seeing none, in that case, we'll move on to 19B. This is notice the next regular commission meeting is scheduled for July 21st, 2026, in person and hybrid in these very hall chambers. Hope everyone will be here. Is there any public comment on that item? Seeing none, we will move on to item 20, adjournment. This concludes the June 23rd, 2026 regular meeting of the Los Altos Hills County Fire District. The meeting is adjourned at 8:57 p.m. District Clerk Vargas, please stop the recording.